Fallout 4 has a lot of cool work in progress mods, but oftentimes it's pretty difficult to actually keep up with the latest happenings. Well, that's why in today's episode of Upcoming Mods, I'm going to show you the latest and greatest for some of your favorite mods that you've seen before, but also some mods that you've never seen before and only just recently got announced. In this video, we're going to be covering a few of the larger overhaul mods that are typically recruiting, but also some of the smaller mods only being worked on by one or two people at a time. Either way, if you enjoy the content, you can leave a like or subscribe, and with that, we'll just jump into the video. Fallout 4 New Vegas is a mod that I haven't really shown you guys too much of as of late. It feels like Fallout Miami and some of the other overhaul mods have really taken the spotlight. With that being said, progress is still being made on the epic Fallout New Vegas recreation in Fallout 4. Over the past few weeks, they've shown us a few of the different weapons they are presently working on, ranging from the varmint rifle to a really high quality looking sawed-off shotgun that we will hopefully get to experience in the coming months. But on the category of weapons, they've also detailed how weapon modifications are actually going to work differently in Fallout 4 New Vegas than they do in Fallout New Vegas, that being way more similar to how they worked in Fallout 4. In Fallout New Vegas, you could just apply and unapply weapon mods right in your inventory, but in Fallout 4 New Vegas, you're going to have to use a specialized workbench. But in addition to all of these standard weapon mods from Fallout New Vegas coming, they also plan to add in quite a few extra and interesting ones. This is something we've kind of seen through some of the stuff they've already released. They detail, for example, how they're going to have several different caliber conversion options, just like you did have in Fallout New Vegas, but in addition, depending on which caliber you do choose, it may unlock other upgrade options. But in addition to that, we also have a look at the redesigned 10mm pistol, not being true to form to Fallout 4's, but the iconic one we did get in Fallout New Vegas. I would actually say this one looks particularly high quality, and that's quite formidable, because I feel like the 10mm pistol, more so than anything else, has more different designs out there, whether it just be a modder's interpretation, or even the differences provided between Bethesda games and Obsidian's take. You can check out everything I just showed you and even a bit more from Fallout 4 New Vegas on their Facebook page. They post weekly updates, and it's just important to remind you guys progress is still being made. Even though there isn't a massive trailer dropping every couple of weeks because, well, frankly, that's unrealistic, they are still making awesome progress, and I do want to highlight that. Then we do have the Cross Plasma Katana, coming from Nero, everyone's favorite mod author nowadays. A little while ago I showed you guys his rendition of the Crucible Sword, something that appeared in the latest Doom Eternal trailers, and I think in some of the older Doom games also. Well, in addition to the Crucible Sword, this pack of weapons is going to have four things, the second of which now we know is the Plasma Katana, basically Genji's sword from Overwatch. As you can see from this image, this sword's going to feature a crafting progression. It's going to start off as a fairly standard, just kind of plasmaized but otherwise steel sword. As you do upgrade it and probably get to higher levels in the game, getting more perks and materials, it becomes increasingly cool and increasingly deadly. He also mentions each level of the sword is going to have additional special effects along with it. All around, I really like this. We have very few weapon packs in Fallout 4, and this one is looking quite cool. He also mentions that it's not going to be exclusive to melee weapons. He might branch out into something else also. Then we have a work in progress tribal T45 from Newer Mine 43, another one that you've probably seen because it was in a previous Fallout game. But even beyond that, we actually have a tribal T45 for Fallout 4 right now. It's a downloadable mod by Edible Grenade. So if you're super impatient and want to check that one out, I will have a link to it down below. But back onto Newer Mines, it definitely looks high quality. I would say some of Newer Mines' best works are his power armor mods for Fallout 4. This one looks particularly cool. Obviously, we just have the one image of it thus far, but I'm excited to see some in-game screenshots and what other kind of customization options he does bring to the table. And then we got a SIG. So I don't know which SIG exactly this is. I can go Google it, but whatever, it's a SIG. And specifically, even though I'm sure it started off of one base type, it does have quite a bit of customizability and crafting options. If you actually look at some of the screenshots of this, you can just see some of the different textures, attachments, things like that. But also, it looks like this is going to be one of those mods that you can take from, let's say, a PDW or even a machine pistol and turn it all the way into a fully fledged DMR. I love this kind of stuff. I feel like it takes full advantage of Fallout 4's weapon customization system. This is one that should hopefully be dropping very soon. Actually, in the post, he was saying how it might come out tomorrow, which it really was yesterday. So a little bit behind schedule, but either way, it definitely definitely looks like it's going to be one that's worth the wait. From these screenshots, it seems like it's going to have a lot to bring to the table and look really fun. I think it's been a little while since we got like a really high quality and new AR mod for Fallout 4, which are typically some of the most popular. And before people start leaving angry comments, yes, I know what AR stands for, but YouTube's algorithm doesn't really like when you say what category this actually is. Now we get some more updates to the element manipulator cannon. I've showed you guys this a few times in the past at this point, and we got some heavy work in progress pictures, which I don't know if I ever showed, but beyond that, we actually got some really cool looking in-game screenshots of this one. It looks absolutely amazing, and I'm very excited for this one. But also, something as an aside, the mod author behind this, Quad Rioters, I think is doing a great job at really diversifying what kind of mods we have in this category. You can clearly see in the bottom right corner of this one how he made a grenade launcher, a regular launcher, and then we got this manipulator cannon. A lot of people like doing pistol mods and AR mods, but he's actually branching out and doing a lot of different things, and at least for me, I really do appreciate that. So we got a singular work in progress picture by Toomba Jamba. This is a mod author that's released quite a few things over the years at this point, and this one looks pretty cool. It's called the Heavy Combat Armor. It almost looks like a modernized take on a steel plate suit that you would see on like a medieval knight or something along those lines. And I personally think it looks really cool. If you guys remember to the finale of 24, really reminds me of what Jack Bauer's character was wearing, or something kind of similar to that. In Fallout 4, you get into combat so often, and though, yeah, some people really enjoy taking the Slooty road, for those of us that like our characters to actually look the part they're playing, I think this is going to be a great addition to the game, and hopefully there'll be maybe some customization options, or this is the heavy variant and there'll also be a medium and light variant. And then we got a take on Pripyat, and I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, I'm not Ukrainian. What this is going to be is both a real world place, but also a setting in a very popular game known as Stalker. Stalker and Fallout 4 modding have a lot of overlap. It seems like people that like to mod Stalker also really enjoy modding Fallout 4, so I think this is going to be a big hit among a lot of people. Right now it seems very work in progress, but basically somebody's trying to recreate this Stalker location in Fallout 4. There's no real details just yet as to what this is actually going to entail in game. Is it just going to be a new city that you could like fast travel to, maybe a few enemies placed down, or maybe it'll be part of a much larger mod? I have no idea. Again, the mod author hasn't really mentioned that, but it definitely looks pretty cool, and I feel like new location mods are becoming even more scarce nowadays in Fallout 4 modding, despite the fact that they're already so rare to begin with. There's so many big overhaul mods that begin and fail, and I feel like this doesn't have to be that. Let's say we just got this new world location and there was a couple unique enemies or maybe a few unique pieces of equipment placed down among it. I would travel there, maybe take a few people down. It could effectively act as some kind of TDM area rather than a traditional story, and I still think it would be very cool. Either way, it looks particularly high quality. I'm excited to see this as progress continues. But either way, last but not least, we do have Fallout Miami. We don't have an official update for this one, but something pretty cool that was actually done by Nexus in this past week is an interview, or what they call a project spotlight, on Fallout Miami. They have some pretty cool questions to some of the major members of the team, and if you want to see it, there is a link down below. I won't spoil everything they do go over in this, but some of the really interesting takeaways. In the trailer for Fallout Miami, you see Vault 53. This is actually a vault we've heard about in previous games, and they mention here how they're going to kind of maintain that established lore. That being that the vault tech experiment for this particular vault was everything breaks down every few months, so people are having to constantly fix things. I know a lot of people, myself included, really appreciate that, taking something that we knew about but never really got to experience properly and actually creating it for us. Fallout Miami is going to feature unique mechanics that are not previously seen in Fallout 4, such as a crime system that they describe as similar to Skyrim's. You can actually end up going to jail in Fallout Miami. They mentioned there's a few others, but that's the only one they actually reveal in this interview. They also mentioned how they've actually considered going indie with this project. Seemingly they'll complete the mod first, but let's say they complete the mod, it turns out awesome, actually taking it to the next level and creating their own game with that team. This is not confirmed or denied, it's just something they kind of mention as a possibility. This is something that a lot of other modding teams have actually done after releasing some of these major mods, predominantly for Skyrim. But yeah, those are some of the bigger things taken away from that. There's a few other things if you want to do a full read on that. If you want to check out Fallout Miami itself, I'll have some of their social media links down below, and also an application form if you're interested in joining. But otherwise, that's pretty much going to wrap it up for this video. But before we end things off, I would like to do today's psychology fun fact of the day. I know it's been a little while since I've done any of these. So I'm taking a social psych class right now. In fact, I have a test coming up, so I've been studying for that. Something really interesting about social psychology though, which to be clear, it's basically how an individual person, like you yourself, actually interacts in a social context. So like if everyone was wearing black to school, you would be more likely to wear black to school because of conformity. That's social psych. One of the things that actually kickstarted this field originally was Hitler. And yeah, no, that's not a joke. That's like actually a real thing. Basically, social psych as an idea was around in the late 1800s, but then around Hitler's rise to claim and following his downfall, there was a big question of how did this guy and the government around him actually get so many people to support these horrible acts? And what followed was kind of an explosion in the field of social psych. Even though there's only a few researchers before that time period, after it, there is many, and it really kind of took off from there. But yeah, either way, that's pretty much going to wrap it up for this video. As always, again, I thank you all for watching. Hopefully you did enjoy this one, and I hope to see you guys all next time. Later.